And so are we your first podcast? Are we going to be popping the podcast cherry?
You guys are popping my podcast cherry. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I love podcasts, but it's my first time I've been on a podcast, so I'm really excited. But I'm going to be starting a podcast in January. So
don't worry, we'll be gentle. We brought candy too.
All right, perfect.
Welcome to the Nightly Strange.
Welcome to the Nightly Strange, ladies and gentlemen. We are your hosts, D-Mac Uno.
Rozzy the champ.
And I'm Keyz Stanley.
Special guest in the building, Isaac. How you doing today, sir?
Doing great, guys. Nice to meet you guys. Looking forward to this.
Nice, man. So tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so got into real estate in 2015. I was a manager at Starbucks and kind of saw my ceiling there. And so, yeah, got into real estate. Been doing it ever since, and I love it. Yeah.
Coffee is the number one drug in America.
It is the number one drug, and I'm still an absolute addict.
Yeah. I always tell people, they'll be like, I'm not addicted to coffee. I'm like, stop drinking it for 2 weeks. They get through the first week. They're like, yo, I've had headaches. You know, I'm irritable. I'm like, yeah, that's called withdrawals. You know,
bro, it's like one morning I'm like, I'm gonna wait till noon. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I'm hooked.
Actually, I just stumbled across this one that was being advertised. It's called Death Wish. And it's supposed to be the strongest coffee. And I don't know how I feel about something being branded Death Wish, but I like when I read the comments, people are like, oh, that gets you going, you know? But like, I don't want my heart to stop.
I want to drink something. I don't want to drink something that will kill my ass like crack. Jesus Christ.
They got crack in a can? They would.
Literally.
Coca-Cola back in the 1930s.
Yeah,
are you guys dark roast or light roast for coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
Oh, dark roast. Dark roast.
I just stumble around and realize I got to work for a living, so I just go out and do it.
Yeah, I'm a light roast guy. Some people think that's because I'm lame, but I think it's because I'm like superior, and I have a superior taste, preference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely want to expand my coffee.
The light brand, and the light roast is good for mid-morning, but hey, when you get up in the morning, you sometimes you just want to look at your sick hours, you know what I'm saying? But certain jobs you can't call out sick. You just can't call out sick. You just gotta take baby steps to keep it moving.
I call out all the time.
Do you use any kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Do you put sugar or cream in your coffee?
No, I'm black coffee, but lighter roast. That's just how.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
I salute that. No sugar additives, soybean oil for you. I appreciate that from a health standpoint.
Yeah.
I'm trying to kick creamer.
Yeah, it's hard. It took me a while. That's why I had to switch to light roast.
Oh, okay. So that's how you did it, the switch over from dark to light roast.
Yeah, because
I'm writing that down.
Yeah, if you get some like French roast and you try and do that without cream, you're crazy. That stuff will put hair on your chest. It is strong. Strong.
I like my little island patch I got now.
Yeah.
That is the last thing I need. So you went from, so basically being a mixologist for Starbucks and then swinging over to real estate. How did you end up making that switch and why?
Yeah, so
besides the money.
Okay, so I've been learning about real estate investing. I'd listened to some podcasts about real estate investing, and I knew I wanted to get into that. And I'd done sales before, and so it felt like a good fit. I loved real estate. I knew I was good at sales. Like I said, Starbucks, they had a ceiling. You can only make a certain amount, and that's it. And so I saw the opportunity to, build a business and do something that I was really passionate about. I'd done sales that I wasn't. I didn't like what I was selling. Right? It wasn't something that I was really motivated by. But real estate, it's like everybody wants to buy a home, right? And so you don't have to convince someone to buy a home. You just have to help service them and be a good person and be there for them and educate them when the time comes to buy a home. So it was a natural side of sales that I'm really glad I made the move because it's been great. So
you feel
you can connect with people.
Yeah. Do you feel the cost of homes is like way more expensive than it used to be? And like, do you know what the reason for that is?
Yeah, absolutely. So, prices, this is not an exact rule and it depends on the location, but in general, over the past 30 years, prices have doubled every 10 years, right? So a home that was 100,000 in the 90s was 200,000 early 2000, 400,000 2010, and then 800,000 in 2020. And it's going up at a faster scale than wages and inflation in general. So it'll be interesting to see how the economy adapts to that. And right now we're kind of seeing it right now because they've raised interest rates dramatically, trying to bring down the value of homes. Because obviously when someone buys a home, unless you're paying cash, you're not really looking at the purchase price of $400,000 for a home. You're looking at what's my payment, right? I can pay $2,000 a month for rent, or I can pay $4,000 a month for a mortgage. It's like, well, that doesn't work, right? So when you raise interest rates, prices have to come down. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Since early 2022, they've started raising interest rates. We've gone from like 3.5 to today's about 7.25, which is crazy.
Are you seeing the home prices come down with that interest rate going up?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not as quickly as I would have thought, honestly. But yeah, we're down. Again, it depends on your specific location, right? But we're down minimum 5, upwards of 12% locally in Pierce County.
I always say we're in a unique little bubble over here in our county because we've got the military. And I mean, Pierce does too, but it just makes it harder for those who don't have, let's say, like a basic housing allowance, to compete with that because they're not getting that same stipend, or someone who's coming from across the water. So it's harder. Like you said, our wages aren't necessarily keeping up with the people who can keep up with the rising costs.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we have a great job market here. We got Boeing and JBLM, lots of just lots of organic jobs. But at a certain point, it has to give because, the average household income here is still Pierce County, I think it's like $85,000 a year. And that's just not enough to afford a standard, $450,000 to $550,000 home. And so, it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out.
Damn.
Do you still have a lot of people trying to sell their houses? And do you have that volume of houses for sale right now?
Yeah, less, right? Homes are sitting on the market longer. People aren't selling unless they have to sell, right? Because so in a good market, you can sell your home and buy a bigger home or downsize. Right now, if you sell your home that you bought and you have like a 3% interest rate, and now you go to buy a smaller home, your payment's going to be the same because you're paying a 7% interest rate. So people just aren't moving. So we're seeing less turnover in general. So inventory is barely above what it was last year, and last year was historically low inventory. But the biggest cause of why homes are staying on the market is demand is so low, right? Supply and demand, there's barely more supply than there was last year, but demand, there's like so much less. People who were thinking about buying a home, they're like, well, for simple math, people who could afford a $600,000 home at the beginning of the year, now I don't have numbers in front of me, but it's about 420 is the same.
What a drop.
Huge. So people just aren't buying. They're sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah, well, it's weird. It's like people want to sell their houses, but it's like, where are you going to live after that?
Exactly. So people are just staying put. So it's kind of stagnant.
Yeah, that's why I tell a lot of people these days, I'm like, watch out who you go live with, because you might be stuck with them forever. Like literally.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people right now. They're like, look, I'd break up and leave, but there's nowhere I can go. I'm like, damn, bro. Should have got that SUV when gas was cheap. But anyway.
Yeah. But that's a great point. Do you see a lot more people maybe trying to go in on houses together? Do you see a lot more unconventional ways people are trying to buy houses these days, since they are pretty expensive?
I try to encourage that. I think that's been kind of my niche getting into the business. I'm young, right? A lot of real estate agents are old. I'm going to be honest, right? And so I'm trying to get my niche, and I've been talking to younger people who aren't making a ton of money, and I'm trying to teach them. Have you guys heard of house hacking?
No.
I have not.
The idea with house hacking, this is how my wife and I first bought our home and our second home. This is how we purchase homes, and how I've coached other people to purchase homes. You buy a home and you rent out the rooms. Or what we did, we bought a fourplex with our first home because we didn't know any better. Like in hindsight, I was like, well, that was crazy. But we were just like, we didn't know any better. So we bought a fourplex and we rented out the other 3 units, and that made it so we could afford the mortgage. Because we couldn't afford the mortgage. It's like a $3,500 mortgage, but we were able to rent out the other units for $1,000, $1,000, and $1,000. So we lived $500 a month. So It's kind of different from your question. Like if me and a buddy go and say, hey, let's buy a home together, I'm not seeing quite so much of that. I am seeing younger couples start to buy homes a lot more. People who aren't married and even like young married couples. I've helped one client and his buddy buy a home, but that's one out of, probably 100 deals that I've done. But I am starting to see more people realize that they can kind of be the landlord, essentially like I buy a home, I take the risk, but I also get the reward of building the equity. And then people can come live in the basement, and I'll put a kitchenette down there and they'll pay me $1,500 a month. And my mortgage is only $2,500. So I live for $1,000 a month. And so that's kind of a really cool option for people. If you can't afford the whole mortgage, just rent out part of the house. And you can buy a home that's conducive to that, right? You buy a home that has, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath upstairs and 2 bedrooms, 1 bath downstairs. And they have their own entrance down through the basement. And you just put a little kitchenette down there. And now that's like a second unit that they can live in. And everyone wins, right? They get a rental, that's a good price. You get someone paying more than half your mortgage and everybody wins.
So do you think it's good? Like if I go buy, like I've noticed that when people were out here, when people sell houses and people buy them, they don't I always feel like I should go sit in that driveway for like 3 hours and see how the traffic's going to be.
Yeah.
Because I see some people, they buy houses and I mean, it's just a horrible place. They're just in their yard like the sad face, like, what did I do to myself? Yeah. You really want to know the area you're moving. I mean, you really want to work with, if you don't know the area, like you're being transferred JBLM, make sure you're working with an agent who knows that area, right? Like if someone were to call me and say, hey, I want to buy a home in Capitol Hill in Seattle, I'd be like, I don't really know Capitol Hill well, right? Like, I mean, I can help you, but I'm probably not the best agent for you because I don't know you. I don't know that area very well. I don't know the cross streets and what's a good neighborhood and what I mean? But work with an agent who really knows the area and can tell you hey, just so planes fly right over that neighborhood all day long, things that you wouldn't even know unless somebody knew the area. So yeah, like those movies they make and the person gets the apartment and the train goes right by their window. It's like
like in Seven. Brad Pitt. Yes. And actually, so it sounds like I have to depend on my agent. So, I'm kind of curious. So if someone dies in the house, do I have to say something? You always hear when scary movies and stuff like that, or like in The Watcher. I don't know if anyone's seen that, where they bought this house and the real estate agent didn't tell them that a creep was watching them the whole time. Spoiler alert, sorry. But do you have to tell?
I actually know the answer to this question. Yeah. Okay. So you have to disclose if a crime was committed at the property that you know of, right? If it happened before you own the property, then you wouldn't disclose it because you don't know, right? But if a crime was committed at the property while you own the property, you have to disclose that. But no, if someone just died on the property from a non-crime related issue, you don't have to disclose that. Another interesting one is we've had this happen a few times in the office I work in, where someone's asked hey, former owner killed themselves in this home. Do we have to disclose that? And you don't, because that's technically not a crime, which seems like you should disclose that, right? One of the times I was talking to the seller, I'm like, hey, you don't have to disclose that. But the seller's like, yeah, I don't feel right not disclosing that. I'm gonna let people know because I don't feel good about it. So technically, no.
Okay.
But you probably should.
It's like, hey man, you can buy. Thanks for buying this house. Here's a card to a medium. You're gonna need that.
Yes. And that brings me to my next. Has anyone tried to sell the house because it was haunted? I gotta get out of this house. Weird stuff's going on. Do what you can.
No, but I got a good haunted house story. So, I, with a couple partners, I flipped my first house into last year, beginning of this year. We bought it in October, sold it in April. And so I get a call from our contractor one day, and he's like, hey, you should come by. There's some crazy lady here saying that her son is dead upstairs in the closet. And she is describing upstairs. And we're like, okay, so I go there, and she's describing what the upstairs looked like. So she'd definitely been there. And she said, yeah, if you go lift up the carpet, my son's body's there. Dead serious. And of course we're like, I got it, dude. I gotta look, right?
Wait, you're like, let me go see the dead body? Hold on. Like,
I'm just like,
is he naked?
I'll be right back.
What?
Right? Well,
Is he still ran?
The home had been vacant for a long time, so we're like, what? So we looked, and there's nowhere even to hide a body, obviously, and it was weird. She finally left and never came back. But then I don't know if he was messing with me, but my contractors were saying, like, anytime they were in the basement, they always heard people upstairs. And they like would come sometimes in the morning, and they would like see someone upstairs, and they'd go, and no one was there. So that was the closest thing. But I don't know how much of that is just some lady who was not really with it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. She may have been engaging in some substances. Oh,
yeah, that's probably the case.
Yeah,
that's how every horror movie starts.
Hey, man, so when you sold the house, and gave the keys to the owner, was there did the people, did anyone, like any squatters were up in there, anything like that? Squatters in the house when you sold the house?
No, we got lucky. So I got my attorney, actually, a real estate attorney I work with. He does a lot of flips, and he said like 1 out of 10 don't get broken into while he's like remodeling them. They always get broken into. We got lucky. We didn't have any break-ins, no squatters. But yeah, so we got lucky, I think.
So how do people, do you know how people sell, people sell fake houses. They'll be like, yeah, I got this house for sale.
Yeah.
You can get it for this or that. Or like rent them out, then they like rent it out, then somebody comes in there and they're like, nah, this is my house. Like, how do people get away with that? Asking for a friend.
They shouldn't. Oh man, that's brutal. No, I've heard of that happening, obviously. It's happened indirectly to me in the sense where what happens is you list a home, people are generally looking to see when you list a home, it's public, is it vacant or not? And if it's vacant, then some scammer will list it for rent on, Zillow and Craigslist, and have pictures, which are my pictures because I list the home for sale, not for rent, right? And then they'll post pictures and they'll say, yeah, if you want to see it, you have to, give a $200, non-refundable application fee and stuff. And that's how they're making their money. It's just little bits of money, but they totally scam people on it. It's really unfortunate because when we find out that it's happening, there's nothing we can really do. We go on Craigslist or whatever, and we report it as being like a fraudulent post. But beyond that, they're always working with like alias emails and stuff. So it's like, nothing happens except hopefully they take down the post and they scam less people. But yeah, it's really unfortunate. Nowadays with the internet, it's like, what are you going to do? You can't stop people from doing things like that.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
glad I got that recorded.
application fee.
Yeah. Kid's gonna get that bike this year. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, exactly. We may not have to rely on OnlyFans after all. So.
I know, right?
Damn.
Yeah. But actually, living in a neighborhood, especially one where you have HOA fees, it's kind of makes me wonder what kind of legal authority does an HOA have when people do not adhere to, the covenant?
Kind of depends on the HOA, but so those are called CC&Rs, covenants, codes, and restrictions. They are recorded on the property. So I have a home that's in a historic district, which isn't an HOA, but it's kind of similar in the sense that there are recorded limitations on what you can do. You can't paint a certain color. In my district that I'm in, it's a historic district where you can't change the window unless it's going to be another wood frame window because they want all the homes to look similar and historic. So I guess the answer to your question is most of the time the HOA, the CC&Rs dictate what you can and can't do. And if you do something without the HOA's approval, you will have to rectify that by, pulling out the vinyl window and putting back in a wood window. They absolutely have control over it.
That's crazy.
You don't really have much say.
That's crazy.
What if I don't? What if I don't? What do they do?
They'll fine you, won't they?
Yeah. Well,
and then I don't pay the fine. Yeah. What happens if I just nope, not doing it?
So actually, I do have an example of somebody in the historic district who has said, I'm gonna do my own damn thing, and like, he doesn't care. And all they've done so far is recorded fines as liens on his property, but he does. So not an attorney, right? I don't know.
He's not giving it legal advice,
right? But in his case, he
purely
says that
anecdotal.
Exactly. In his case, he says it's only gonna be a problem if he ever sells it. He says, I'm gonna die in this home, so who gives a damn, So they can't really, as far as I know, they can't really do anything. They can't force you to sell it, right? And so they're just gonna they're gonna pressure you, and if you eventually sell it, then you'll have to pay the fines and correct the problems. But that's my understanding. That's a little above my what I'm licensed to talk about, but that's how I understand it.
Yeah, I'll be damned if I buy a house and they got all these rules I gotta abide by. Like, you ain't put no money on this. You didn't lay this carpet down. So do you feel it's cheaper to buy property and build a house onto it, or to just buy a house?
Oh man, that's a big question. So how can I answer it quickly? So the problem with buying a home that buying a lot and then building on it is you need more money in the bank. So first off, they're going to be more strict. Like, to get a building loan, they're going to be more strict. You have to have a higher credit score. Your debt to income has to be lower, meaning like, what's your income? What's your debt? There's normally a threshold that you can buy a home with. And it has to be even lower debt to income. Like the delta between those two has to be bigger. And then you need a higher down payment. So if you go buy a home today, just a standard home on the market, you need 5% down. I mean, FHA is 3.5% down. There's even FHA programs that are 0% down. So that's great because you don't really need much money, if at all, to buy a home. But if you are going to buy a lot and then build on it, you need a lot more money down payment. And when the home's being built, we're actually building a home right now. So as the home is being built, the builder's taking out draws from the bank, right? And so what that means, they don't get, like, if the building a home costs $600,000, right? They don't get the $600,000 at once. They get 50,000, another 50, another 100, and then 50, right? And as that's coming out, every month you're paying interest-only payments on that money. So I'm living somewhere right now and I'm paying my mortgage, but on the home I'm building, I'm paying interest-only payments every single month on what the money that the builder has taken out. So I'm kind of almost paying two mortgages, not quite, but close to. And so you need more money in the bank to be able to withstand that. So if you have the funds, the liquid funds to do it, building a home is awesome. I mean, it's been super fun going through the process, getting to pick out, like, oh yeah, we want to do this, we want to do this. It's been fun.
Yeah,
but man, it's a lot.
Yeah, but
a lot of time.
I need them wide hallways in the back where you pull the book down and the bookcase slides to the side. Yes.
All right, some secret passageways.
Yeah, I need like 3 entrances to my house. Yeah, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, I need my driveway to open, like bushes will move open and there's a driveway there like Batman and shit. Yeah.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. She might have been on board with that one.
Yeah.
Or safe room.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you can sneak in between the walls, that is your safe room. You're just watching people. You got those like 2-way mirrors and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, well, I'll have my wife on the podcast next time. You guys can convince her that that's what we need to do. There's still time.
Totally.
So when you've been doing holding open houses, have you had anything strange? Have you seen anything strange? Or people are just like, I'm just here for your donuts, or I'm here to use your bathroom.
Donuts.
Yeah. Open houses are kind of boring, honestly. Like, I mean, you just get people who are, wanting to see the home because their agent isn't available to show it to them. Mainly, though, we get neighbors. Neighbors, and neighbors are probably the weirdest part of open houses because they come in and they're like, so why are they selling? We know them. Yeah. We've known them. So what happened? Are they getting divorced? And you're like, I
feel seen. I feel seen. I'm that
neighbor.
Yeah, no, we get lots of neighbors.
I am inquisitive.
But usually somebody knows. Somebody knows. Like things happen around here. I'll go ask the neighbor. They be like, "Yeah, let me tell you. Hold on." All right.
Yeah. No.
It seems so out of left field.
And then we'll be like, I'll be trying to keep an eye on everybody, right? And then all of a sudden you like look in a room and there's someone like looking in their closet. I'm like, hey, what's going on? They're like, oh, it's a big closet. And I'm like, you weren't looking at the closet side. What are you doing? So that's probably the weirdest thing is like nosy ass neighbors, like just checking things out and asking questions that they shouldn't be asking. And you're like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Wait, their stuff is still in there when people are looking around?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, hell no. I can't leave my toothbrush around strangers. Oh, no.
Oh, no, I tell them.
Like, oh, shit. Like, this ain't Colgate. Like,
yeah, dude,
have people going through your medicine cabinet?
They're like, yo, they're all fucked up off the pill. Yo, what was that? Like, can I take a nap on this couch, bro?
Yeah. I tell sellers that if you have anything super valuable, if you have medication that people can't be touching, hide your toothbrushes. I'm just saying.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I've never heard of that happening, but like, there are weirdos out there, man. Like, I'm sure people do that.
Hey, take your toothbrush. Remember when your cat ran into my yard, started scrubbing their armpits? Like, talk to Frisky with that shit. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. You know how you deal with that? You tell them the same thing Gru told his neighbor from Despicable Me. You say, hey, your animal's leaving, your droppings on my yard. And then the neighbors can say, oh, that's just what, animals do. And then Gru said, unless they're dead.
Oh, shit.
I thought it was funny. I was like,
that's pretty good. I hadn't heard that.
You can get sued up here for that. Some lady's cat died, and she proved that it was like a member of her family through pictures and stuff. Like, she threw the cat birthday parties and all this stuff. She got to sue the neighbor for killing the cat.
Oh my god!
And she won.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Watch this weird. I think you can marry goats up here too. But anyways, that's besides the point.
I don't believe in harming animals.
I do that. If you can put them in a deep fryer and make them crispy, I mean. Your chicken may have been your friend, but now he's a 6-piece. So, it's whatever. Why is that rooster screaming no more? Oh, he was.
Exactly. Oh, my goodness. So I've been hearing this new wave about those who swing. I got to look out for pineapples. Is there anything that you know of, like if I'm like looking for a new home that I should look out in the neighborhood that says, oh, man, this neighborhood is full of swingers?
Okay, so I don't have firsthand knowledge of this, but I've heard it's flamingos. That's what I've heard. I heard if you got flamingos, you're ready for business, and you're open for business, and just come knock on the door. So I have jokingly pointed that out to clients, but I don't know for a fact. I've heard that, and then since then it's like. What's that theory that like you buy a red car and then all of a sudden you start to see more red cars everywhere and there's not really more red cars, but you see it more? What's that called? Anyways, now I see flamingos everywhere and I'm like judging like 100%. Like, okay, I know what you're about.
Pineapples and flamingos. Okay, I'm gonna be seeing who's got flamingos in their yard.
I didn't know the pineapples one, so noted. I gotta take down my pineapple signs.
Pineapples and flamingos.
Yeah. If someone buys you a pineapple drink, right? They're trying to like say, hey, are you down to clown?
Yo, shout out to Sailor Scott the other night. He bought us all kind of fucking tropical drinks.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I know. We can't even talk about that. That was on Veterans Day too.
yeah. No, it was cool. It was serving the military. Cool. We're keeping them busy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, keeping them busy. Okay, so what's the hardest part? So we've got this tumultuous market. So what's some advice for our first time buyers?
Yeah, so first time buyers, just focus on step one. Like most of the time you don't really know like what the first step is, and so I would say simplify things and just go talk to a real estate agent or a lender. Either one, find someone who you trust who's a real estate agent, or find someone who you trust who's a lender. And if not, ask people around, who's someone who you use, and get somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about, and talk to them. Because most of the time, people are not ready to buy a home today, but they want to get the process started, and you don't really know what that looks like, right? So people are like, oh, I got to pay off all my debt, and I got to save up a 20% down payment. And then I'll be ready to buy a home. And that's just not true. Like, and so you want to talk to an expert who can get you on the right track and say, all right, let's look at your credit. Let's look at your income and your debt, and let's see what we have to do to be able to get a home, to qualify for a home that you can afford. And so, yeah, step one is really just talking to a professional who knows what they're doing, and get a recommendation. Like, don't just go on Zillow and click on the first agent who's on Zillow, because here's the thing. The first agent on Zillow is not the best agent. They might be, but it's the agent who pays the most money to Zillow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they don't like make people on Zillow do a test to see like, hey, we're going to rank people by best based off of this test. It's like, who pays us the most money? Okay, you're number one. And so anyways, that's not necessarily a good agent, right? So go talk to people, find who, you know someone who's bought a home. Do you like your agent? If not, then okay, thanks. But you find someone who was like, yeah, this agent really knew what the hell they were doing. Talk to him or her and get some advice on where to start, and they can really set you on the right track. But don't try and figure it out on your own, because Google is like lots of BS, man. There's a lot of people who still say you need 20% down to buy a home, and it's like you're gonna be waiting for a long time if you're trying to save up, 50 grand or 100 grand to buy a home.
Yeah,
I love that you said that, because that is, I think, a common theme that we hear, or at least since I was growing up. You need to put down at least 20%.
It's so long.
I'm like, have you seen home prices lately? How's someone coming up with like sometimes like $120,000? Like, what?
Yeah, $500,000 home is going to cost you 100 grand. Then it's like, who's going to save up 100 grand? I mean, that's going to take a long time.
Yeah, you're gonna get to like 50,000 and be like, you know what? Fuck it, let's go on vacation.
Maldives, there we go.
Yeah, I'm out. We'll get a house in 2 years when the markets crash. Like
100%.
I know. Do you think it's gonna crash? I mean, I think it'd make everything more affordable, but what are your predictions?
I don't think the price of anything is ever gonna go back down.
I mean, yeah, how far is it gonna go down? That's the question, right? Like, it's been going up by so much. Is it going to crash back to where it was in 2010, 2012? No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, knock on wood, I'm kind of guessing a little bit, educated guesses. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's going to dip. Like I said, we're between 5 and 12% right now, depending on your area. King County is dipping even harder. But I think it could go as high as 15 on the low, 25 on the high, and watch me eat my words in a year when we've dipped 30%, right? But that's my speculation. Here's the thing. This recession is a self-inflicted recession. It's all about interest rates, right? What has changed since last year? One thing, interest rates. Inventory is roughly the same. It's about 2% higher than last year. Like, people still want to buy homes. They just can't because interest rates are so high. And who's controlling that? It's government. And so the second they drop interest rates, we're out of the recession. Unemployment is slowly creeping up. But again, that's all related to interest rates. So if they dropped interest rates, we'd be out of the recession. So, I mean, the Fed has already come out and said, like, the reason we're doing this is to decrease inflation. And once they feel like that's under control, which is getting under control, they're going to drop rates again slowly. So I mean, I'm actually closer to 15% if you're asking my prediction, but I doubt it'll be more than 25%.
Okay. All right. We can see.
We'll shall see. Yeah. Well, man, I'd like to thank you for coming on to the show. Is there any shout outs you want to send to anybody?
Oh, man. I don't know.
I'm sure your wife.
I wasn't expecting that question. Yeah, shout out to my wife. I've got an amazing wife. Her name is Mackenzie. She manages Airbnb.
Tell us about your team. Shout out Mackenzie.
Yeah, Mackenzie's awesome. She manages Airbnb. She's kicking ass. I got two beautiful daughters. They're very young. They're 3 and half a year old. And so yeah, they're my everything. So yeah, love them. And yeah, I work in Pierce County, Thurston County, Kitsap, a little bit of King. But mainly Pierce County, and yeah, love real estate. If anybody ever has questions about real estate, always happy to help. I'm not one of those pushy salesmen who's gonna make you sign a contract, talk to me, right? I'm just here to kind of help educate people, and if you want to work with me, great. If not, I can point you in the right direction, get you in touch with lenders, contractors, etc. So I really appreciate the opportunity, guys. This was really a fun conversation.
How can people get a hold of you if they want to ask you some questions?
Yeah, I'll just give you my phone number, 253-208-7297. You can hit me up, text me, call me anytime. And
okay.
Yeah,
Your phone's gonna
And
ring.
your
It's
team
like,
is on.
hello, sir. You have ordered some stuff from Amazon, and your card is charged $2,000. Like what?
Yeah, what?
My son, they call my son all the time. He acts like he don't speak English. He'd be like, no habla español, or no habla inglés. And they're like, oh, no English? He's like, yeah, I don't speak English. And he hangs up on him.
My number's everywhere, man. You know, when you're a real estate, it's all over my website and everything. It's like I get the amount of spam calls I get every day. It's like I'm used to it. So whatever.
It's insane. Now you're also on Instagram. Tell our listeners how they can maybe reach you on social media, maybe see some of your other team members.
Yeah, for sure. So, I work at Realty One Group Turnkey. I'm a part owner here. We got an awesome real estate brokerage here. About 66 agents. We're in Gig Harbor and Tacoma. We got 2 offices. And I don't know my handle off top. Okay, here it is. So my Instagram is Schaefer. That's SCHAEFER.IW. My initials. So Schaefer.IW. And give me a follow. I'm always trying to post helpful content for people. If they have questions about real estate, they can ask me there. And happy to connect.
Nice. Well,
Love
thanks
it.
for coming on, man. That's awesome. You gave us some really good information. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is The Nightly Strange. I am your host, D-Mac Uno.
Rozzy the champ.
And I'm Keyz Stanley.
And we'd like to thank Isaac for coming on today. And we will see you all next week.
You're welcome to the Nightly Strange.
Thanks, God.